SFNEOnline fans? This is John, your co-host of The Grove Show here, back for another episode of Why Are They Gone? I hear some rolling thunder in the distance. That's right, this is Rolling Thunder Coaster at Great Adventure. And we are going to find out why Six Flags Great Adventure took this coaster out. But before that, we will love you if you subscribe to us and hit the notifications so you know when our next videos are coming out, even our Grove Show. But go on our Facebook, our Instagram, and our TikTok because we have crazy videos and new posts every day about different parks that are in the area, even farther away, even Texas and California. So please go on them and like us on there. But let's get into this with the Rolling Thunder Coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure. Why it's gone. After Six Flags had acquired the Great Adventure in 1977, they immediately began adding thrill rides, and first came the Lightning Loops, the park's first looping coaster. To follow the success of the Lightning Loops, they had to try and build a new, exciting thrill ride. That's when they started coming up with the idea of a new, bigger coaster. Possibly the largest coaster in the area. So, they were also making a entire new themed area, and they needed an anchor ride. So, they ended up coming up with a new coaster. They needed a ride's name, and then it hit them. Rolling Thunder. It made a crazy cracking sound sometimes. Who knows? Because that's what thunder and lightning do. So they contracted manufacturers William Cobb and Associates and the designers of Don Rouser and William Cobb to create a wild storm of a creation they wanted to build. Construction on Rolling Thunder started in 1978 with land clearing for the massive structure. Hundreds of trees were removed to create the ride's footprint, while they took care also of leaving some of the many trees to make sure that they were possibly survivable. Once the ride's area was prepared, hundreds of concrete footers were poured to create the foundations of the new coaster. Pouring of the concrete before the onset of the cold winter weather was crucial to keep the ride's construction on schedule for the beginning of the season for 1979. Dozens of carpenters were hired by the Frontier Construction Company to assemble the massive wooden structure. Huge piles of lumber had arrived for the project, and crews began assembling what was from the ground up. As the construction started and the station progressed to the lift, following the course of the ride, as each section of the structure took shape, carpenters began laying catwalks on either side of the track, and then wooden rails would be constructed for the dueling tracks. Construction of the wooden rails was one of the most labor-intensive parts of the process. Each rail was composed of multiple layers of lumber, which was stacked in staggered fashion, creating a strong rail for which the steel top plates were fastened to. The real challenge was creating the rails that was very fascinating and complex. That was very fascinating. The complex curves for the changes in the elevation and direction of the coaster's navigation. Final sections of the ride took shape where the curve into the brake run which was constructed at the same time as the station building and car shed. The roof extended over the ride's brake runs for safety, keeping the skid brakes relatively dry in the rainy weather. Like all wooden coasters that were built until that time, skid brakes were the only option for brakes. The skid brakes required a surface of brake pads on the bottom of the cars and on top of the tracks to remain dry as possible, as the cars would not slide right through the station. The coaster was designed for use of 4 trains, and that's 2 trains on both sides. That's right, it's a racing coaster. Through the event of the rain, only 2 trains would actually run on the tracks, because they wanted to eliminate the possibility of trains collisions in the station. Still, often the trains would overshoot the loading platforms upon their return. Rolling Thunder was originally designed for use with 5-car trains, each of which had 3 benches for a total of 30 riders per train. The station had open railings when it first opened with simple yellow lines for guests to stand behind. Rolling Thunder opened in 1979 to mark the 100th anniversary of roller coasters in the United States. Rolling Thunder's Coaster 2 side was renamed Redundant Rungung, which basically it was the backwards spelling of Rolling Thunder. Rolling Thunder opened to much fanfare with long lines of guests waiting to ride the exciting new crazy coaster. At the time, the nearly 100-foot tall coaster was considered huge, and the idea of dueling racing coaster aspect made rides even more exciting. With a maximum speed of 56 miles per hour, Rolling Thunder was the fastest ride in the park at that time, and remained so for 10 years. And at the ride time was over 2 minutes and was the longest coaster in the park at that time. Years later, after millions of safe rides, there was a problem. On August 16th, 1981, a 20-year-old park employee fell to his death from Rolling Thunder during the routine test runs that they did. An investigation by the New Jersey Labor Department concluded that the man might have not secured himself with a safety bar. A park representative later confirmed this conclusion, saying that the employee may have assumed an unauthorized riding position that did not make use of the safety restraints that they had. The ride was inspected, and the Labor Department concluded that the ride was operationally and mechanically sound and was able to reopen. After this, the park decided for safety reasons, the cars and open railings in the station. For safety reasons, cars had to have new safety things put in on them, and the open railings on the station would be replaced with ear gates. The cars of Rolling Thunder were retrofitted with additional safety devices over the years after as well. First came black headrest, which helped prevent whiplash injuries as the trains rumbled through the tracks. Later, the bench seats were replaced with divided seats, which helped keep riders in place throughout the ride, especially if you were riding solo and didn't have a buddy. Seat belts were also added as an additional restraint to supplement the old PTC buzz bars, which offered very little to hold the riders in place. The park started to have a lot of concerns with the safety of this coaster as well throughout the years, and went on as the years went on. Then they decided to close the great coaster since ridership was down, and thanks to the newly added El Toro years before. Sadly, this coaster met its fate due to changing of the thrill seeker and changing of the guard in the craziness of coasters. that the park just kept and also the park just kept adding great attractions and newer, better coasters. The Great Rolling Thunder, that was once a crazy thrill, offered not just excitement of a classic wooden coaster, but added excitement of two tracks offering different experiences combined with a thrill of racing. This will always live on in the coasters riders that enjoyed this coaster years ago. But that was the story of Rolling Thunder. Or some people call it rotting lumber. But if you like this, please subscribe and like us. If you don't like it, hit the don't like button. I don't care. Also, make sure your notifications are on because you don't know what's going to come on next for the next Why Are They Gone? Because...
Yeah, you don't know nothing. Make sure that if this guy right here has been killing it. And just suggest any park, any ride, and this guy will get it done. This guy right here.
Any park, anytime, any ride. I don't care. Go down in your down in the comments below. Anywhere, even California to Italy. I don't care. I love doing this research. It's interesting to me. It's interesting, I'm sure, to you. So please put in the comments below any other rides, any other parks you want to see that has left.
Yeah.
But we're going to get out of here. But before we do, make sure you go to our Facebook, our Instagram, and our TikTok. Because
you can't see nothing. I took it away. I took your vision away.
And also, make sure you subscribe to this page because our craziness was going to be out even more. So until then, keep on coasting, y'all. Peace.
Peas and carrots.
I almost fell and died.